spouse could contribute the money to the company to kind of keep the wheels going, or the spouse could just keep the proceeds and just kind of and sell the business for fire sale values, and knowing that we've kind of kept that spouse whole. So even for single owner businesses, there's that need for doing the planning and locking in these values. Now, what are all the different sales opportunities for you? One is the existing buy-sell plan. So we can do the buy-sell review. We can make sure that that they're properly funded. They got funding on all of them, both the life and disability. It could be new buy-sell plans. So maybe they don't have a buy-sell. So we can prepare a proposal for you, customized proposal, showing how that buy-sell might be structured, putting in the insurance, and we've got sample agreements, as I indicated before, to say how that might look. But then, as we just talked, even for single-owner businesses, they need to do some planning and protect their families in case something happens to them, that they get the true value of the business with the business owners there. So we're seeing a lot of sales with the buy-sell with the existing plans and putting in new ones, and just even for the single-owner businesses. And we also have the business protection. So it could be some key person insurance. If you think of it was Andrew Carnegie who said, if you could take away all my plants, all my land, all my equipment, but you leave me my key people, I could get it all back. And it's really true. The value of these businesses a lot of times really depend upon having those key people there at the business. And so if they lost some of those key people, the businesses could be harmed. So putting key person insurance in place on key people is critical. Now, one of the things that we like to do is when you're putting in the buy-sell coverage, is especially on the life side, is that if you're going through underwriting for an amount to buy out the owner, why not put a little bit extra on for key person purposes? That can help so that the company doesn't have to go back through and buy new policies next year in case the value of the business goes up. You already have this insurance in place that less could be allocated for key person, more for buy-sell. But also, just from the standpoint, think about it. If you have two owners and one of them passes away, sure, you have the insurance in place for the buy-sell, but now you've bought out your 50% owner, but now you've got to try and pay all the other bills, keep the wheels going, because you've just lost 50% of maybe your key people. So with that, why not just using that same policy that you're doing the buy-sell with, put a little extra death benefit on there for key person needs, and so it kind of protects the business from that perspective. Not only can they do the buyout, but they've got a little bit extra there to keep the wheels going. Overhead expense, so think of that disability overhead expense as a way to protect the business. If a lot of owners are out there looking for tax deductions, and generally that disability overhead expense policies are tax deductible to the company to help them in the case of loss of some of those overhead expenses. So owners are always looking for tax deductions, so that's an idea for them. And then you got the kind of the loan protection. These businesses, if you think about families where you have a husband and wife, and they're basically from the standpoint of they have some insurance, personal insurance to protect in case one of the spouses passes away, that they can pay those mortgage payments or pay off the loans because they just lost one of the spouses and we want to keep the family in the home. Well, it's the same thing with business owners. If you have multiple business owners and you've got a lot of company debt, if they lose one of the business owners, they may have a hard time paying that company debt down. So why not have a little bit of key person coverage to protect against some of those loans so that the company doesn't go under because they can't make those loan payments. So certainly protecting from that standpoint. And then selling the business. So other sales opportunities that we're seeing is how do we exit the business? How can we sell the business? If the owner actually sells the business, and the case I had one last year where we did a valuation, and we came back and we said, this is between $70–80 million company. I mean, really big company. And the accountant said, no way, it's not even worth it. It's maybe $20–30 million at tops. They said, the accountant said, you're just trying to sell insurance. And it's like, no, we really thought, based off the financials, that it was this. So the owners, they were kind of like, they saw the $70–80 million number, and they're just like, wow. And so they actually went out and worked with a broker and actually sold the company for, I think it was $68 million. So we were just about $2 million off there, so they ended up selling the company, and our buy-sell coverage kind of went out the door. But the owners needed, they had a lot of estate planning needs and investment needs and all of that. But from the standpoint, it's selling the business. If it may not be a buy-sell, but it could be some of these other sales opportunities with the estate planning and just, you got the qualified plan rollovers and that. But you can also look at some of these opportunities if they have key people in the business that they want to sell the business to. The more time you have ahead of time for some of these planning opportunities, the more options are going to be available to you. So if you've got a 10-year window before the person's looking to get out of the business, we can put some plans in place to lock in some of these key employees, maybe get some dollars into their hands so that they've got a down payment to buy out our business owner. And we can do that through executive bonus, or we've got a select reward plan that's kind of like a SERP plan to get some dollars into these business owners or the key employees so they've got the down payment to buy out our business owner. So, and then if somebody's buying the business, we want to make sure we have insurance on that buyer, because that way, that in case something happens to our buyer, our seller of our business is still going to be kept whole with making sure they get their payout. And then additional family protection, so from the standpoint, maybe we're going through underwriting for buy-sell purposes or key person purposes, maybe they need some personal coverage at the same time. So while we have them in underwriting, we've got a great offer on them from that perspective, let's assume, we can put a little personal coverage in place as well. So, from that standpoint, there could be some opportunities there. We talk about, retirement, that a lot of times the business is the retirement plan for these business owners. And so, a couple of opportunities there is, rather than having all your dollars tied up, in the business, why not take out some of those dollars, diversify your holdings, and life insurance could be a great way outside of the business as a tax-advantaged savings vehicle. So from that standpoint, we've got our S owner and our LLC and our executive bonus plans where we can show business owners where if they take maybe some of their pass-through income from the S Corp or from the LLC and overfund the life insurance policy, where it can look more attractive than if they were to invest in mutual funds or deferred annuities, and just it's almost like that Roth IRA on steroids from that perspective. So we can show the benefits of having a cash value life insurance policy as a non-qualified retirement savings vehicle. And so we're seeing a tremendous amount of success from that. And it's because of, you'll run into these cases where, and just from the standpoint, a lot of companies are hoarding cash right now. They've got cash. The cash is they're just not earning anything on those dollars. Why not take some of those dollars out of the company, in case they get sued, or from that standpoint, let's get the dollars out of the company, diversify, and we can put it into a tax-advantaged savings vehicle. So seeing a lot of success from that. I mentioned our select reward plan where you can tie some of these key employees to the business. If you're going to put a key person policy on a key employee, certainly you can do the low-cost method, which is doing a term policy. But why not spend a little bit extra, put a cash value policy there where we say to the employee, if you stay for 10 years, I mean, maybe you're looking at a 10-year term policy, why not say, well, if you stay for this 10 years, use a cash value product, we'll transfer this policy to you at the end of that 10 years. We'll pay this lump sum bonus amount to you, and you'll receive this dollar if you stay. If you leave before then, you get nothing. But this could be a way for the company to lock in this key person. I mean, if it's a key person enough that they're looking to put insurance on for a term policy, why not spend just a little bit extra to make sure we keep this person around if they're still living? So it's a pretty exciting opportunity there, and consider using some cash value life insurance from that standpoint. Other investment we kind of talk about if you sell the business, or could be some IRAs or qualified plans that lead to the discussion there. Now on that retirement one, I'll just mention that a lot of times companies are going to have 401k profit sharing plans where basically at the end of the year, if they have a really good year, they're going to pay out a bonus or basically make a contribution to their profit sharing plan, which basically rewards all the employees, and you get some, some of the higher paid employees and longer tenure, you can get more dollars to them, but their percentages today? Do they have any insurance in place? And so we'll put this buy-sell review together. So you collect the documents, we'll prepare the evaluation, the buy-sell review, get that turned around. Typically the valuations are within a week. The buy-sell reviews, depending upon how detailed they are, it's a little bit longer from that standpoint, but we're going to get that turned around for you as quickly as possible, because we know that if they're going to give you all this information, we want to keep in front of them while the interest is high. So we'll prepare that buy-sell review for you, the detailed reports, and then what you'll get is the reports. So you'll get the valuation, customized valuation, get a customized buy-sell review report, and we can help you out with the illustrations from that standpoint as well. So you get those customized reports, and we'll talk to you. And when we send these reports to you, we'll jump on the phone with you. We'll talk with you about what we're seeing, what are some of the considerations, what are the valuation methods that make the most sense, how we came up with the numbers, what are some of these different sales opportunities that we just talked about that we could present to the client, because we could put together some other proposals as well in addition to the valuation, the buy-sell review. It could be a key person, could be some of these bonus or estate plans as well. So we'll put together the customized proposal based off of what's going to meet your client's needs and to really help you. And so from that standpoint, if needed, we can jump on the phone for 5 minutes with the client to kind of walk through how we came up with that valuation. And we're certainly more than happy to have a extended conversation with the client's attorney or CPA on what we're seeing in the agreements, or just kind of bounce around some thoughts from that perspective, because we're really here to be part of your team to help you with that sales process. And then, as I mentioned, on the tail end as well, we consider these long-term relationships. So if questions arise, I just had a question on a case earlier today. We did an evaluation 3 years ago, and they put in a buy-sell, and now they're kind of from the standpoint wanted to update. Had some pretty good years here, so they're looking at updating the items. So, once again, we're here to help them out from that perspective. So we do have our request for proposal. It's just 2 pages on what we need. So on those, we indicated what we needed. It's just we got a 2-page request for proposal form here, and we'll prepare these reports for you. And so, with this, we understand it's all about the sales, and we're here to help you. And